My name is Philip. I come from Bethsaida in Galilee. Well, all of my friends and I were in Bethany listening to John the Baptist. He called us to be his disciples, and all of us turned and followed him. I remember so well before he fed the 5,000 with only 5 loaves and 2 fish, asking him and the others, "Where are we to buy bread so that all of these may eat?" Little did I know that Andrew was already bringing a young lad and his lunch to Jesus. When Jesus began to tell us that God was our Heavenly Father, it was almost beyond my understanding. However, as I listened to the Master's words, I have grown to understand them. In fact, I can almost say, he who has seen Jesus has seen the Father. Because everything one wants to find in the Father, I find in Jesus. And nothing one doesn't want to find in the Father, I find in the Son. And now, having seen the Father through him, he shocks us by telling us there's a traitor in our midst. Does the traitor not know that in betraying Jesus, he's betraying God? That in conspiring against Jesus, he's conspiring against God? Can one of our number be so blind? Who can it be? Can it be Philip? Is it I? Is it I?
I am Thaddeus, one of the disciples whom Jesus called to be an apostle. Jesus chose the 12 of us to be the cornerstones of the new kingdom, just as the 12 tribes were the cornerstones of the old Jewish kingdom. I feel unworthy to be numbered among his apostles, yet he chose me. I well remember the day. After a night in prayer, he called us to him and gave us authority over unclean spirits and the power to heal every kind of disease and infirmity. Then he commissioned us to go forth and preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He told us to be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves, since he was sending us forth as sheep into the midst of wolves. It is enough, he said, that the student be like the teacher, and the servant like the master. I was in Jerusalem when he gave the Great Commission. "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I shall give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And now, he who came to bear men's burdens has a burden thrust upon him, the knowledge that one of us will betray him. Which of us can it be? Who is that traitor? The man we least suspect? Or will all of us betray him before the night is over? Philip, Peter, Judas, and John, and even I, Thaddeus? Is it I? Is it I?
I am Thomas, the twin, or Thomas called Didymus, which means the twin. While I do not look upon life with gloom and despondency, I usually demand proof before I believe. I want to see before I commit myself. Yet, I'm not a man of doubt. Rather, I feel sometimes I'm a man of daring. I remember when Mary and Martha sent word to the Lord that their brother Lazarus was dead. Jesus turned to us and said, "Let us go to him." We knew of the growing opposition to Jesus, and many of the disciples shrank from the unseen danger of going to Bethany. Yet I remember how I spoke out. I rebuked them all by saying, "Let us also go with him, that we may die with him." Why do people remember my doubts and forget my daring? Remember my questions and overlook my affirmations? Remember my fears and forget my faith? I used to go fishing with some of the others, and how well I remember the Beatitudes he spoke on the horns of Atin during the first year of his public ministry. I can almost see him rebuking the winds on the stormy Galilee, healing the sick, curing the disease, opening the eyes of the blind, unstopping the ears of the deaf, and cleansing the lepers, and preaching the gospel to the poor. Yet, opposition has developed, and his enemies are determined to destroy him. He would make us God's servant, while they would make God their servant. And now, he says that even among us, the chosen 12, there is a traitor. Is he speaking of me? Is he referring to me?